So we have created 4 exercises so far, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a navigation bar so you can choose each one of these exercises and go through them. When you want to create a router or a navigation bar, the first thing that you have to do is to install the React Router DOM. So for that, I first cd into my project, and then here I am going to install npm router. So the command for that is going to be npm install router, sorry, React router DOM. So for me, I already installed React, but when you're installing it for the first time, it's going to take a little bit. Now, the first thing I got to do, actually creating routing is very straightforward. So the first thing you got to do is import, and then you're going to import browser router. You can give it an alias, and then just say router. So this means that the alias means that instead of writing the browser router, you can just write router. I did that because this is very long and I can make it shorter, but you don't have to do that. If you want, you can just use browser router wherever I used router. And then I will import route, then route, and also link. And these are going to be from what we have installed. So that is going to be React router DOM. What I'm gonna do, the first thing that you gotta do is you have to create a router here. So why do I need to create a router? When you are creating each one of your links, so for example, if I want to have a button or a link to exercise 1, exercise 2, and then whenever I click on them, it's going to go to that exercise. When I want to go back and forth, if I just link it to them, um, I won't be able to find a route from the link that I am at right now and the link that I clicked on. And the problem with that is, for example, if you want to go back and forth, if you want to click the back and forth arrow, it won't be able to figure out where it has to go back and where it has to go forward because these are not separate HTML files, but these are renders from component function. So it's a little bit different from a traditional way of creating routes because traditional way, for example, you create an A tag, and then each time that you're going to a different page, you are bringing a separate HTML, and every time you're making a server call. But when in React is a little bit different. When you have a component function, you actually have one page, which is SPA, single page application. So there is one page, but every time you click on one of these JS files, only the content of that page is going to change. So in order to go back and forth, you can't just have an A tag and then it finds its route, but you have to have a router because your HTML, you're not opening a separate HTML, but you're changing the content of your application of the page that is open. So this is very important. This router keep all of those information so you can go back and forth. Another thing is whenever you want to open, you can bookmark the page and you can go back exactly to that JS that was open. So that is why router is important here. And anyways, if you don't have the router, you won't be able to, link won't work. Inside of my router, the first thing that I'm going to do is create links. Now let me explain what links do. So here I create a link and then I'm going to name it exercise 1. Okay. So when I create the link, let me first run my application. Again, I'm going to cd inside of my project, and then I'm going to say npm start. Now, as you can see, I have this link. When I go on, it will change my pointer. If I click on it, nothing happens, okay? So what I'm gonna do here, after you create a link, you have to use two of this link. What two does is It will say when you're clicking on these exercise one, what should be displayed in the URL. So right now, I'm going to say exercise one. Okay. And you should have a space between that because in the URL, you can't have space. I mean, if you do space, then you're going to have weird thing in between exercise and one. So I'm going to save this. And then I'm going here again. When I click on exercise one, you see that my URL changes and there is another extension to it that is called exercise one, okay? But nothing else happened. Nothing shows up. Nothing happened. It's just change the URL. The next part that you're going to do, right now you fix the URL and the name of your clickable link. But how am I going to choose where it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to look for? The way I'm going to do that is I am going to create routes and also, sorry, this one have to be capital. Routes have to be capital. So I'm going to create another tag called routes. This is going to be where all of my routes going to live. And then I'm going to create a route here. And in my route, I have path, and that path is going to be whatever the two is. So right now, my two is pointing at exercise one. So I'm going to say the path is exercise one. And whenever your URL have an extension of exercise one, you will go to this route. And then the next one, it's going to be which component you want to display. And that is done with elements. If you notice, my exercise one have an element called hello world, and I have to pass the props to it. And the prop that is going to be passed is name. I actually, for this one, I have two props. One is the name and the other one is country. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So now if I save this and then I go to my web page, so my error is because I have made a mistake here. This is route with capital, not small. So I'm going to save this again. And now, as you can see, whenever I'm in the extension of exercise one, this is going to be displayed. So if I go back, okay, when I go back, that disappears. And then when I click on exercise one, my URL changes and this is what it's going to display. Let's try to create all of these very quickly. So what you do, you just create the links and route. I'm going to create all of these exercises route. So before I continue with this, make sure that you have navigation here as well. The reason for that, even though it works without navigation, it's a good practice to have the navigation around it. Then your browser understand that this is a navigation bar. So if somebody's using assistive tech or something like that, this is going to be helpful. So it is optional, but it's a good idea to have it. Now, I have created all of the routes. Now I have counter for this one. These one don't need prop, so it's going to look like that. It doesn't look very well. I'm going to fix that, but look here. When I click exercise one, my URL changed to exercise one. Imported from exercise one is going to show here. Then I have exercise two. It actually works as well. And then I go to exercise three. I can write the values here. Then I go to exercise four, the JSON file, and it's going to grab the first name for us. So everything is functional and also it's going to show up. And another thing to notice is that and let me actually open exercise two and then three and then one again. So now, since I have a router, you can see that I can go back. And then when I click back, I'm going to exercise three, I'm going to exercise two, exercise four, three, two, one, and then to the original. And then if I go to exercise four, exercise one, then I have, and then when I go back, this is exercise one, exercise four, and then I'm going to original. So it is keeping the memory of where it's supposed to go.